Everyone, just to put your phones on vibration or silent. If there's some type of weird emergency in the next hour, you need to answer it, just kind of quietly step out. And we are recording this, and we will have it available for everyone to see. Thank you. So, choose to live. What a great title for a workshop. So many of us are spending so much time just trying to deal with the things that we're dealing with or struggling with sometimes. Some of us so much time doing that we forget what it's like to truly live, to be fully alive. Like a child, planting seeds of bright vision for your future, seeing a wonderful vision for yourself, putting it out there that that's what you're going to have. We experience so much contrast in our life that sometimes we forget because we're dealing with all the contrast. Does anyone know what contrast is? Contradiction. It's kind of like, don't sometimes when you wear on an outfit, I have a certain pattern, in this particular case solid blue, but then I brought another pattern a little bit that contrasts it, or sometimes a color can contrast something, but what it does is actually bring out even more what you originally wanted. Contrast will bring something out more. In life, are we all experiencing enough contrast? There's what you want, and there's the things that contradict it, that bring out more in your heart, the clarity. We need a few more cheers. Welcome. Ready? Come on in. There's more than enough room.
Cheers.
Okay. And if you want to switch it this way, we'll switch it the long way. Okay? Yeah, if you're gonna, yeah. Let me take this one. I'm gonna put it. This is my buddy. You guys playing in the playroom? Are you gonna stay here?
Yeah, we're gonna stay here.
The kids? Okay. Hey, come hang out wherever you can. You want to go wherever you want to go. Okay, perfect. So I can go in this corner here. Wonderful. We need to keep this over a little bit open.
Yeah, would you like to sit? Is somebody sitting here? Stephanie, would you like to sit here? I'll slap the fan on so everybody gets the air. Somebody sit here? Let's go.
Thank you. Not too high. Not too hard. Just enough to circulate. Wonderful. Okay. Contrast. Alright? So what happens is I go ahead and I have this vision of everything going smooth for this workshop today. That's what my heart's looking for. And then what happens is you experience contradictory things. Shifting, late, people come late, adjustments going over, not set up a certain way, and then, contrast, which brings up in my heart the more clarity. When I say clarity, I can also interchange that word in this context with commitment. Of how I want things to go smoother next time, and this and that. So by experiencing this, it motivates me, it drives me to be more prepared, to have it set up differently. It gives me growth. It allows me to grow as a person, to allow even better and better service, and it's a process of nonstop growth. Contrast. Everything you guys love in life, right? When you're having pain, what's that called?
Contrast.
Contrast. When your doctor says, oh, you have a weak ticker, what is that? Contrast. When your hips hurt and you can't walk that good, or you're getting vertigo, what is that? Contrast. See, we get so hooked up. This is something that this should be taught in school. Because we go ahead, you're going to experience contrast in your life no matter where. You could be on a cruise, going to the Bahamas right now with all the people you care about, not a care in the world, and you just won the lottery. And I promise you, you'll find some contrast. Because everything is here to help you grow, to help us grow. You know, some of us, when we looked at our x-rays and we saw, ooh, how can I be already at phase 1? 10 to 15 years of decay. You know what that is? Contrast. Do you see? This is important to know. Because the purpose of contrast in your life, what do most people do when they experience contrast? Does it get them up, excited, or does it get them down?
Down.
That's because they're out of alignment. They're not in balance with life. They're not aligned with life. They're not aligned with their creator, with the purpose, what's going on with them. See, that's why it gets them down. But when you see it from a place of love, when you look how your creator sees things, and you realize contrast brings things out, you realize it's there to help you grow, to learn. It's going to push you towards a better life, is what it's going to do. Is there any other reason God would allow suffering ever to go on if it wasn't going to be benefiting you in some way? His purpose, life, something loving, right? So, a lot of times, we forget to start planting seeds for what we want in life, to start picking what you want. And that's something that needs to be done right away. And that's really for you to decide how fast you think you need it to be done. But let me tell you why I say that. Sometimes you will plant seeds in your life that will, grow quickly. Anyone here ever hear the story of the bamboo and the fern? No? Okay, I'm going to give you a makeshift version of it because I don't remember the story, but I remember the point. So you want to read, just to get the story, you go read it, look it up on the internet, okay? But the point, let's see if I can emphasize this. So God made both the bamboo and the fern. And as the seeds were in the ground, they planted the seeds, and the first year went by, the season, and the fern started to sprout. And the bamboo, nothing came from the bamboo. All the seasons go by the next year, the fern grew, and it's becoming this nice, healthy shrub. And the bamboo, nothing. The third year, the fern's sitting there nice and pretty. The bamboo, nothing. Fourth year, fern's growing and expanding. Man, it's kind of like in life sometimes. We know we have a bright future for ourselves. We're working hard towards something, and you see your friend or someone else, and they're growing, and you're saying, man, look how the grass is greener on the other side of that fence. And look at this. Where's mine? And sometimes we're like that bamboo seed. And we're sitting there going, where's mine? Not recognizing what the contrast is there for, and that there's growth there, there's roots that need to grow. And we continue. A fifth year goes by, or it's coming up towards the fifth year, and the fern is good. God doesn't give up on the bamboo just because nothing came out yet. Because what happens in the fifth year is that bamboo all of a sudden, almost overnight, will grow over 100 feet tall. Wow. You know this, right? And in order for it to do, that's something the fern can never do.
That's true.
But in order to do that, what does it have to grow deep into the ground? Roots. So I had to go through the contrast of seeing blessing, growth, life, and not experiencing it yet. And I had to find the courage, the strength, the conviction, the commitment. Because what does it take to grow 100 feet high over? That's going to take a little conviction. And it takes contrast to help grow that within us, right? Let me give you an example. My wife asked me, honey, can you go ahead and do the dishes? And I'm watching, let's say it's football season, and I'm watching the end of a game. And I'm like, yeah, honey, no problem. She goes, honey, seriously, I'm going to leave to the supermarket. I'll be right back, please. That's the only thing I'm asking you to do. Okay, honey, I got it. Watching my game, right? In my heart, I see myself doing that. I'm not a bad person. I'm going to do it. You know what happens? As soon as I hear the car return in the driveway, I experienced a vision of what that's going to be like, that conversation. And there was enough contrast, enough commitment inside my heart that made me jump up, even if it's the ball's in the air. It doesn't matter. I'm going to run over there. Let me just do some of this before she walks in that front door. See, you need the contrast where the flesh is weak, it's lazy, you get it, it's the spirit that's strong, and it's the contrast that brings it out, what's in your spirit, and allows it to be expressed more. And some of the seeds you're going to plant are going to be like the fern in your life. That's why I say make haste, because you're going to plant some seed, some things in your life with your words. By the way, your seeds of life are words, consciousness. Yes, the world was created with words. The words you're saying today over and over to yourself today, actually, what you see in your life today is what you told yourself over and over again over the last several years or more. And the words you're saying to yourself today are your future. That's why when someone comes in with pain, could be someone very spiritual, and there's some type of contrast in their life, right? And they're focusing all on what they don't want, what they don't want, what they don't want. Can you fix this? Can you get rid of this pain? Can you do this? Can you do that? Well, first of all, one of the things I do is I want to help you align with that spirit of life that's going to help you grow and heal from it, and it will be gone if you're healing. And I'll say, to that person, have you been telling everyone about your pain? Like me and anyone else? And have you been communicating that? That's the message life is receiving, right? That's the seed that you're planting. That's the seed that you're putting out. Are you telling God about your conditions, the conditions of your life? Here's my problem. Telling God about all your problems? Stop it. If your belief is that God doesn't already know, I'm not sure what kind of limited perspective of God that may be. But I can tell you this. There's a power that's greater than you, that's meant to flow through you and work through you. It's why you came here, to be a part of this amazing process called life, to be part of the growth, part of the blessing everywhere, let that spirit flow through you, be its hands and feet, and let love, caring flow through. Everywhere you let more caring flow, you can have your own business, right? The more that business shows the community, its clients, its customers, whatever, how much they care. Do they get more loyal customers? Do they get more abundance, more blessing their way? See, the more God's love flows through you, the better it's going to be. And instead of telling God about all the problems, why don't you start telling your problems about God? Start practicing, because it's contrast. It's there to teach you how to fulfill your purpose. It's there, if you can't tell yourself when you're going through a crisis, contrast, something that's going to develop your faith, that's what it is, a moment to develop your faith, to plant good seeds. So that's what's going to manifest, because once you have faith, it's going to manifest in your life. So go ahead, and if it's your knee or your shoulder, tell your knee, hey, I know you're hurting. Practice your faith, develop it. I know you're hurting. Let me tell you why it's going to be okay. Let me tell you why that those days are numbered, you being in pain. And what you're actually doing is the first step of being a balanced life. Sometimes you're not sure what to do or how to do it. I'm going to go over that with you today. The next half hour, we're going to go over some amazing stuff. Because a lot of times, some of us are struggling in life, some of us are having a hard time, some of us are just unsure, some of us feel like everything physical we got, but spiritually we're just missing something, we're not feeling fulfilled. And sometimes our heart's crying out, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And we just don't know, and we don't know, and that fear holds us back. I was living like that for a long time. I felt so committed to God, and I just wanted to do whatever He wanted to do. And my fear of not knowing what to do, not making sure I wasn't doing it right, making sure I wasn't, I don't know if it was perfect yet, or this or that, or whatever it was. And it made me procrastinate. I ended up doing nothing. So was I doing my part? No. I ended up doing nothing. And then I would try too hard, do more than my part. When you try to do more than your part, you're just getting in the way, getting God's way. Either way, when you're trying to do more than your part, you know what happens to your vibration? Your alignment goes down. And if you're doing nothing, if you're not seeing progress towards the things that you want, your vibration also goes down. And that's why it's about balance. We're going to show you how to have that balance today. Because every single person here has a life full of so much joy, so much abundance, so much prosperity, right there, already waiting for you. And all you have to do is let it manifest. Open up to receive it. And that happens when you're balanced. It happens when you stay in alignment. It happens when you're just doing your part. But sometimes we're not sure what our part is. Sometimes we're not sure if we're, how to be more balanced with something because we're so overwhelmed or something. Sometimes we know what our part is and we're not balanced, but we don't feel like we're good enough at doing our part, or we need to develop our gifts that God gave us, your skill. And sometimes we're just not sure what the heck we want or what's going on. Those are the 4 areas of life that need to be in balance. And as soon as you bring them into balance, you'll have what's called discernment. You'll know from deep within exactly what you're meant to do. So if you're one of those people that's been praying, God, please just tell me what to do and I'll do it, these are the 4 areas that need to be in balance. When you bring these 4 areas into balance, your life becomes one big miracle. Everything you're working towards, everything. All the seeds you planted, all the years of planting seeds that you didn't even realize it. Your contrast. Don't give up. Because you're in a place where we're helping you see something. That you have this power within you and you're going to get it. As long as you stay aligned with it. Because you don't have the power to make it manifest. But you can do your part and it will, because it's already there for you. Whether it's being healthier, whether it's being free of your medicines, whether it's going back to your medical doctor and having him say, whether, I don't really care what someone else thinks of me or not, but having him say, wow, your blood pressure is normal. Those medicines are working. And you go ahead to your husband or someone and you go, I haven't been taking the medicines for like 6 months. Because you're healing. What's better? Keep managing your disease or to live a life of health and wellness? Prospering. The word prosper, if you look up in the dictionary, I believe it says the ability to gain that which you want. If you're feeling prosperous, it means you want something, you can go get it. You want to go on a cruise this weekend? Let's go. That's really prospering, huh? But most importantly, the most valuable thing that you can ever prosper with, you already have. The ability to get yourself to that point, it's already inside you. And it's not about doing it because that's what you want to do, but that's what God's will for you is. Every single thing in your life has been designed to have a joyful, loving experience of life. Everything. This contrast in your life sends out these rockets of desire. It allows you to be a vessel for God to create a desire within you. And when you see it from a higher point of view, it's this delicious, wonderful vision of what you want. More clarity about what you want, more commitment to what you want. The only problem is if you didn't know what to do, you've been banging your head against the wall or trying to do things that weren't working, trying harder, not trying enough, not trying harder, not trying enough. That's what a subluxation is, right? Trying too hard because you're not aligned with the faith that there's a power that's doing it, or not trying enough because you're not aligned with the faith that that's going to happen. Either way, too much or too little, that's what a subluxation is. When you're trying too hard, you're getting more pressure on your nerves, so life can't flow through your nerves. You're getting sicker. And when you're not trying enough, when you're not doing your part, you're moving more towards helplessness. So you're not putting extra pressure on your nerves, but there's less energy going through there. When you go ahead and you go on this track and we do the balance these 4 areas of life, I'm going to show you how to balance it. Then all of a sudden, you're moving in a direction where every adjustment, every time you take pressure off your nerves, the power that's flowing through there gets infinitely more and more powerful. It never stops. Each adjustment gets more and more miraculous in your life. I had I received a wonderful letter today from someone. A wonderful letter today. Actually, last night it came, but it was amazing. I loved it. Dear Karen, Tony, and Stephanie. Okay, that's not the one. It was amazing. You can have this, by the way. Is it okay if I read it to you?
Mm-hmm.
It's not long. Contrast. Ooh, you sent me an email. Okay. The point is, it's a beautiful letter, by the way. It made me so happy. But it was about a patient of mine who came from a long distance, all the way out in Long Island. It's not that long, but and he was suffering. I did not know how much he was suffering because am I treating your symptoms? I don't need to. I'm correcting the cause. That's what people are learning about, correcting the cause versus treating the symptom. Right? Who wants to keep treating the symptom if you can correct if you can get a problem from the root? Right? Once and for all in your life. And the point is that this man was on so much pain that he was on the floor while his family was celebrating some holiday, and he was on the floor in the living room and crying in pain. And so he called someone up, and they took him all the way to my office. It was in like Eastern Long Island. So I talked to him and I connected with him and I saw what he's doing. He was going to chiropractors. He's a fireman, and you know he was going to other doctors, and you know he got relief once for a little bit from something, and it was the same spot. It was just so bad. And I told him something along the lines of what I'm telling you now, because I wanted him to let go of control. I said, "There's nothing I can do for this pain for you," because the more he's trying to control it, is he going to get more life? Or he's trying to do more than his part.
Right.
Let me get rid of the contrast. Let me get rid of the instead of allowing it to fulfill its purpose, and then it disappears. You know. So he's getting more and more pressure on his nerves. No wonder, no matter where he's going, it wasn't working for him. So I said, "There's nothing I can do," and he felt disappointed. I wanted him to let go of that goal of just get rid of this pain for me, get rid of this pain for me, and then I told him what I can do for you. For him. And I told him what I'm telling you. I said, "Do you want that?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." And we gave him an adjustment. He's received hundreds of adjustments before. And I got this most beautiful letter for him today. I didn't see him for months after that. It's been over a year and a half. And I got a letter from him yesterday. And it said about how all the suffering he went through, that's how I got the information. And how ever since that one visit, everything went away. And it's been over a year and a half and it's never come back. He's never experienced anything like that. And how thankful he was. And I'm not telling you this because I want you to go ahead and if on your first adjustment all your contrast doesn't go away, to think, "Oh, this isn't working for you." But I want you to know how powerful it can be when you develop and your expectations and your growth and you let go more. And he let God play more of a role. He was just so humbled because he was in so much pain. And then he actually went ahead and just said, he almost wanted to cry. I think he did maybe. "You can't get rid of it." I said, "No." I said, "But here's what I can do." And then he surrendered that completely and he's like, "Well, whatever I can do." And he wanted to align with life and get more of God's power flowing through. And next thing you know, this is the story. And that, you know how the story ends. Everyone has the ability to have those miracles happen for them. Start planting seeds now. One of my greatest mentors said, "Make haste," because some seeds are going to grow faster like the fern, but some of them are going to take longer like the bamboo. So you got to stop wasting time. And it's not just enough for you to be committed to planting good seed in your life. Everyone you care about needs to be committed. Because it's going to just break your heart when you're being blessed, and it's still vibrating with scarcity and victimhood and disease, trying to control it still and manipulate it for the rest of their life. I mean, they don't have to because the battle's already won. There's a power inside you that already did it. So I'm going to show you how to balance those 4 things because sometimes you're not sure what to do. Sometimes I've had people come in and they wanted more about nutrition. What about nutrition? What about this? What about that? And they might need like $200-300 worth of nutrition to get what they really want. And I can just feel that if I go ahead and I give it to them, it's going to make their vibration go down. They're going to lose their alignment. And you never do anything at the expense of your connection with your Creator. If there's one thing for certain, it's this. The more you separate from your Creator, disease, destruction, bad things happen. Sin is how you do that. Incorrect beliefs, incorrect, when you're resisting life, when you're fighting the flow, the way when things are manifesting. And then, but when you align with it, just as certain as disaster is, that's why some of us, we look at our spines, we never knew, but we were never focusing on making sure we're aligned, making sure we're aligned, making sure we're aligned. This is the first time a lot of us have heard it. And we look at our spines and we go, oh my goodness, how could that be me? But at the same time, you go ahead, who here started some healing already and you just started? Yes, 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 yes. Perfect. As soon as you start aligning with life, just as certain as destruction is going to happen from separating from your Creator, as you start aligning with it, blessings are going to happen. And when you have a pain or a symptom, and you're in a lot of pain or something, you're experiencing some contrast. My goal, I'm not going to try to get rid of that pain on one visit and try to control it for you. Because that's not what's going to help you get rid of it long term. That's not going to allow it to fulfill its purpose. You're actually fighting life now. You're going against it. And when you go against life, you actually get more contrast. Which is not really what you want. Do you see? If you can start, because once you start aligning with this, the growth that was necessary from the contrast, from anyone who feels separated anyway, automatically happens. So there's no need for it. So you can see a vision of yourself just becoming more and more bright with more and more blessing and no negativity. And you're right there starting to see heaven on earth just manifest. Every single thing is right there for you right now. It already exists. So the 4 areas, ready? Any area of your life. Let's say you're having a health issue going on. Write it down on the top of a piece of paper like this. What's this? I wrote something down here. Look at this. I had a meeting this morning. I wrote down office on top of it. Okay? And I wrote down 4 areas. Truth, alignment, skill, and action. And I usually put a line like this, line. Okay? These are the 4 areas you need to check into every day. Every day. You have to just check into it and say, how am I doing here? 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 As long as you're balanced in each of those areas, you're set. If you've never done this before, you need to start right now because you're going to get better and better at it. You're going to see more and more blessing and it's going to change your entire life.
What are 4 areas again?
What's that? Truth. Why don't you do it in a square right now and put a big cross down the middle and put 1 on each corner, and this way you can leave room to write underneath it. Yes.
Can I have a piece of paper?
Of course. Does anyone else need paper?
How come everybody has a paper?
Can I have here's a pen. There you go.
Thank you.
You have a pen ready? Okay.
Yes.
Need paper? Absolutely. Can we have some? Thank you. Thank you. Do you have a board? Some boards? Thank you. Action.
Does it matter what?
No. They all need to be balanced in every way.
Truth, alignment, skill, and action.
Thank you.
Good.
You guys following this? This right here, the beauty of this is, as soon as those are balanced, you're aligned with life. You're aligned with your Creator. You're aligned with the way things are manifesting. And when that happens, every single thing that you felt like you were promised in the Bible, everything that you were promised by your, whatever it is that you believe, all the blessings that you were hoping for in your heart, it all just starts coming. It's like being a boat flowing downstream. You lost the oars, but you realize that every single thing you want is downstream and it's just moving you there anyway. You let go of control, but you realize you didn't need it. The truth is you never had control anyway, because you were trying to row upstream to get what you want, but where's everything? Downstream. In other words, there's a power that's doing it for you, that's flowing through, and you just do your part. Yeah.
So can you give us some examples?
Yeah, we're going to do that. I was just giving everyone a chance to have some paper. Any questions so far yet?
Can you just repeat? Truth.
Truth. Okay? Your truth is it's kind of like this office. When you come in here, okay? We go ahead. You ever notice how we do monthly, progress evaluations? And I have these questions that you fill out?
Yeah.
Okay? The purpose of that is me doing my part, which is so small compared to what your part is for you. My part in your life is smaller than what your part in your life, in other words. That's what I'm saying, okay? And some of us are spending so much time trying to increase our part in someone else's life, trying to control the way someone else thinks or the way someone else feels. Let me tell you something, you're going to reach a lot of resistance, a lot of contrast that way. Especially if you have kids. I tried that for a while. Trying to control the way they think and feel. We had a conversation about that once, right? Yeah. What did I tell you to say? At that age, at a certain age, that you might have to, it's better to just go ahead and say, you know what? I see that you're not listening to me, and I'm so thankful for that. Because you have something inside you that's meant to guide you, and it's not me. I'm here to help you, but you got to figure out how to connect with that. And once you start trying to do that, I'll be here to help you. But because now that's how you're going to help that person for the rest of their life, instead of looking to depend on everyone else. They have something inside them that's stronger. Yeah. Yeah, you get that, right? This is real. And that's why I want you to apply it in your life. I'm going to show you how to apply it. That's the purpose of this workshop. So you can start experiencing the miracles. Because I want the texts. I want more of these texts. There's two types of texts I get. Doc, these allergies really killing me. Can you call me back? Patient Smith. You know? And then I get other texts. Doc, everything in my life is changing. I'm sleeping better. I'm digesting my food better. I have more energy. I feel more relaxed. I'm moving forward in my life. I'm feeling more blessed. Thank you. I want to see more of those. And you all have the ability to do it. Can I do it for you? Do I have the power to control your life? If I try, will I just take my vibration, my alignment, and go lower? Okay? So the point is, I'm not going to do it. That's why, as I started being more and more blessed in this office, the way God's molding us, it was the more I started saying, hey, you can do it. I can't do it for you, but who's going to take, accountability for your life? Who? You. I said, anyone here who's ready to start taking accountability for your life, you're going to see yourself be blessed. Starting already. That's it. Because you have something so amazing inside you that's working with you. Yeah. You have the power that created the entire universe. The earth is spinning around its axis. There's a moon spinning around that. It's spinning around the sun. There's, the power that made you is working with you. So why are we struggling for 20 years, 30 years, frustrated with things? It's because we're either out of alignment, we're not balanced in this area, in these four things. So, truth. So why do I do those monthly progress evaluations where you ask those questions and you have to give the answer? Because it's getting you to start telling yourself, I want to see where you're at. When you get adjusted, I take pressure off your nerves. I'm curious, what kind of thoughts are you thinking that's going through those nerves to your areas of your body? Curious. Oh, I know, the power that made you flows through there. How aligned are your thoughts with that? With that power? Or you're just resisting, trying to get rid of all the contrast? Do you see? What's going to bring more of that creative power and activate it? The truth. So you have to ask yourself, what's my truth? What have I been blessed with? What do I know that I know that I know? And what is it that I know that just because I think because Dr. Tony told me, or because my mom told me, or my teacher told me when I was little? I did a technique called neuroemotional technique. And I did it with someone recently who was a pastor. And this person had some type of childhood issue. We went back to the original event. When was the first time that you were conditioned to have the belief that made you feel this overwhelmed, this fear, whatever it was? Because there was something going on in life now. We all have contrast. It doesn't matter who you are. And I just kind of took her through it. I said, you want to see what it's like to let go of a subluxation completely? Let's go to the original event. Because you're working on, completely means all the way to your level of faith, something shifted. And you completely get rid of that subluxation for the rest of your life. And you'll see miracles happen because your vibration is different forever. So I took her back. There was something going on in her life where she felt some emotion, and then we went back to the original event where that belief was created, and there was a childhood issue that happened, and she was feeling a certain way. And I said to her, what was it, what belief could you have been holding on to about life? I want it to be deep. It doesn't always have to be so deep. You have to let Spirit guide you. Because if I push to go too deep, and if I'm pushing, then I'm losing my alignment, and it's not going to happen. You can only go as deep as they're ready to go. But she was ready for a miracle. And I said, what belief about life or God were you holding that allowed you to feel this way? Ooh. And she thought about it. And she said, I believe that God wasn't there for us. She said, and I took her through something, and I said, because of what you went through, what did that do for your family? What did that do for you? What did that do? Some of you, I know I did an NET once with you. I did, sometimes I do with it. I went through similar stuff. I went through the blessings. I said, sometimes we've been so wired, planting just negative seeds about a situation. I have to go ahead and just say, I know that you may not see anything positive from this. I know that, and I go, there's positive and negative to everything though, right? And I go, so I know that you're aware of all the negative stuff, and I know it's so bad, and I know, and I know, and I know. And someone goes, okay, he gets me. They can feel that love flow through a connection. And I go, but I want to see if we could just find one tiny little positive thing that came from it. If there's anything, if we could spend 5 minutes looking for it, do you think we could find it? And they go, and I went ahead, and we went ahead, and she said, oh, well, it helped us become more committed and more strength, and we got more this, and we got more that, and it helped us decide to come to this country, she said, and whatever else, and I said, and your family, how's it helped the family through the years, and how have they gotten stronger? And if they didn't get it, I went deeper and deeper. If they didn't have those blessings, if they didn't get that growth from that situation, I said, what would have not have been good in their life today? What would have been, what would have messed them up? And she took time after a while, just went more and more and more and more and more, until all of a sudden her spirit opened up. And her energy shifting, because she's so used to seeing it as such a negative thing. She judged it so negative. And for the first time, she's seeing all the blessings that came from it. And I said, what was the lie that you believed? And she said that God left us. He wasn't there for us. I said, what's the truth? And she said, this was a blessing. That He was always there for us. That we needed that experience, or else our life would have been messed up now. And that's where all of a sudden she just had to shift. You can't just wait for me to do an NET with you one day, or keep chipping away with your adjustments, removing interference. Some days we'll go ahead and we'll do one every once in a while, say, hey, you know what, we're going to do a neuroemotional technique today or something. But the point is, you got to be working on your truth. You got to be working on your faith. What is it that I believe? And not because someone else just told me, but what do I know that I know? What did God bless me with in my heart? What do I know that I know that I know through experience, through what He's given me? Or through there is something special that can exist within you, where it's a gift that you can't explain, so I'm not going to try to explain it to you, but where you know something and you just know it. And it's not what takes you away from if it's your own thought or not, is if the other 3 areas are balanced. If you're imbalanced in those areas, it might not be really God's message to you. But when those other 3 areas are balanced, your alignment, your action, your skill, then all of a sudden you will have discernment, and you'll know, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what it was. And you'll just know it from deep within, because you're aligned with life, and there's a pure connection to that source of all wisdom right through to your consciousness, and you'll know what you need to do. That's what you're looking for, right? Just show me what to do and I'll do it. So all 4 of these areas need to be aligned. When I go ahead and I do my doctor's reports, I work on my truth. Sometimes I get soft. Your truth is your foundation. Write this down. Your truth is your foundation. Your faith is your foundation. Same thing. It's your foundation. Millie, did you want paper? Are you okay?
I have it.
Okay. Your truth, it's your foundation. Everything you do is based on what you believe. And the more you get aligned with God, with the highest truth, all of a sudden, the less you need to try hard. It's like me, when I help you guys, I don't have to try to convince anyone of anything. I try to spend most of my time asking questions, because I know the truth is within you and it will reveal itself. What do you know about this? What do you know about that? Well, what's going to happen if you never change that? Well, I'm going to get sicker. Is that what you want? Then what do you need to do? I need to do something about it. Do you know what to do? No. Oh, that stinks because I don't want your life to get worse. Wait a second. What if I show you what to do with that help? You know what I mean? What if I, like, you know, I'm just playing around. I can't do anything for you, but if I start guiding you in the right direction, the same way I take care of my kids, the same way, right? The next thing you know, everyone's becoming empowered and you just live that whole life. So your truth, it's not about what I'm telling you. Even after you leave here today, don't just say, oh, Dr. Tony said this, Dr. Tony said that, and accept it. When you have discernment, you know what? Discernment is one of the biggest problems in the chiropractic profession today. This is the most powerful and most amazing profession in the whole world. What we're doing is helping people become more aligned with God in their mind, in their heart, and in their actions. And making sure they value that. And they go ahead and they experience all these changes. So the point is that there is a group of, there was a ton of doctors who wouldn't be, we just, you know, a lot of us just want to help people, and we just want to help them see them heal and see them get better. So we go to workshops and seminars, and you say, oh, how do I develop this technique? This doctor's getting really good results with patients with this and that, and you go and you study his technique, and you need discernment to know, because there's always something there for you to learn everywhere. Right now, there's something for you to learn. Some of what I'm saying is exactly what you're meant to hear, what you're meant to hear, and some of it, you're not meant to hear it. Some of it, and how do you be able to have the discernment of what, it's not about what I'm saying, it's about, what am I meant to hear right now? Lord, what is it that you're telling me through this experience right now? That's the only thing that really matters. Do you follow? Mm-hmm. And when you have that experience, see what was happening is a lot of these doctors will go ahead and they want to just help people more, so they find this one doctor that's getting good results with X, Y, and Z, so they just start following everything he does. And they didn't realize that he didn't get good results with A, B, and C, though. Or with something else. Or he had other bad habits, though, and they just copied everything. And they his bad habits as well as his good habits. We need discernment. Right now, what I'm sharing with you, some of it's meant to hear, some of it might not be. What is it that God wants you to take in from this? In order to have that discernment, you need to have that balance. You need to be in alignment. If you're sitting there in resentment and frustration and judging, are you going to have clarity of mind? So you need to be aligned. That's the alignment part. High vibration, right? Faith. You need to be clear about what it is that you know, that you know, that you know, and see how does this apply to what you know, that you know, that you know. Okay? And start working on your faith, your beliefs. All right? If you want to interact with me, I've been, God's been molding me the ability, the skill of communicating. Communicating is not what you want to say to someone. It's how do I get that person, how do I reach them? If I really want to help them, it's not about me, it's about you. Then it's not about what I have to say to you. It's about what is this person understanding or not understanding that's going to change their life. How do I get them to receive that information? That's a skill too, right? And also your actions. How do I make sure I'm always doing something so I can feel like I'm making progress in my life, which keeps what? My vibration high, my alignment high. Do you see how they all affect each other? So you have to check into each one and say, which one do I need to work on today? That's it. Which one do I need to work on? Do I need to work on my faith? Do I need to work on my truth? What is it that I believe? What do I know that I know that I know? Right? So when somebody came in with that pain recently, knee pain or ankle pain, and they were, I said, stop telling, your God about your knee pain, or you said it was your ankle pain, and I said, start telling your ankle about God. And I said, what is it that you know that you know that you know? So she started to say, I know that I said, do you know that there's an ability to heal within you? And she said, uh-huh. And I said, you know that just because I told you that, or you know? Like, are you taking ownership of that belief, or is it because I told you or something? And she's like, no, I know. Oh, I felt her take ownership of it. I said, good. I said, okay, there's a start. See, because if she didn't have her truth to be a solid foundation, how is she going to be God's hands and feet and help share it with someone else if she can't help it to herself when she's going through from foot pain? Do you see? You gotta, so the contrast is actually helping her be a vessel, because this is someone who just all she wants to do is help serve God and love others and share and have them receive blessing. So God allowed her to experience some contrast because it was her own. It's our own. God doesn't do anything bad for us ever. But He'll allow certain circumstances and situations to manifest that are going to help us grow and get what we want. He allows some contrast. So she experienced this contrast, and she felt like a victim to it. Vibration up or down? That's why I'm teaching you this, because where do I want your vibration? Up. Feeling thankful, on purpose. God's got a plan. It's all, right? Now, you hear that, but as soon as you hear that, your vibration goes up, and you're like, ooh. But how well do you know it? Just because I told you? No. You need to go into you might have to tune into this now and say, do I really know that for sure? How do I know? Until it's a solid foundation, because without a solid foundation, everything falls. Do you want to build your life on a house of sand, or do you want to build it up on the rock? Your faith is your rock. You gotta, what do I know that I know? Make sure it's solid. When I get soft, when my foundation gets soft, I notice I start pushing a little bit in a talk. You know? I notice I start pushing, trying to convince someone. I said, ooh, that wouldn't happen if there was so much faith in God's Spirit on me. I just don't need to try to convince anyone of anything. It's just the truth comes out. So I said, ooh, I'm getting soft. You know why? Because you live in a world that's ignorant and blind. You're going to be around people who are constantly low vibration. Okay? That's your contrast, which is such a blessing, because you're here to help be the light, to help that light, actually be expressed through you. Which brings more fulfillment, more joy, more healing, every single thing you want. It's right downstream. You just got to make sure you're aligned. You get it? So, but if your truth is off, and you're not sure, and you're feeling uncertain, you don't know what to do, then all of a sudden, what happens to your alignment? It starts to go down. So that's time to work on what? Your faith, your truth. Start strengthening up that foundation. What is it that I believe? What do I know? Take 5 minutes. Take 1 minute. Just check into it every day. Say, what is it that I know, 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 that I know? Go as deep as you need to until your spirit tells you, okay, that's deep enough. What do I know? That no matter what's happening, no matter how many naysayers come into my life, see, that's what a strong foundation is. That's what you need. That's why I try to ask more questions during the doctor's report, and I try to limit how much I'm actually sharing. Because I don't want to I want you to build up a strong foundation based on what you already know. And the truth is, I already know God already gave you everything you need. He already gave you as much faith as you needed to heal. I didn't say you needed more faith. I said He already gave you enough. The mustard seed's worth is all you needed. Now just stay aligned with life. Stay balanced, and you'll see your faith grow. Check in every so often. Check in. So I had those monthly things. It gets you to go ahead and say, hey, we saved the seed for you right here, see? Right there. Perfect. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Don't worry, we'll fill you in and be recording it, okay? Okay. So the monthly go over, is it just for me to see where you're at with you? It lets me see where you're at, but how do I really see where you're at? Is it because, is your symptom gone yet? No, but I get to see where you're at a lot of times. Oh, this is feeling better, that's feeling better. Oh, I still have this though, and I still have that, whatever, okay. You know, things are starting to shift, things are starting to heal, right? What we're doing is, if you get caught up on that vibration of focusing out of your alignment, when you're in alignment, here's the things you want to align with, ready? Let's go right now. I feel called to do it right now. Let's just do it. In your alignment, you want to be aligned with gratitude? If you're going to be aligned with your higher power, you're going to feel gratitude. You want to be aligned with vision, which is going to come from balancing your truth. What do I know that I know that I know that I want, right? But you're going to, what is it that I want for myself? Are you sure? Work on your belief. What do I believe? What do I believe about this? What do I believe? Then go back to your vision. The more clear your vision is, the more you're vibrating with it. But as soon as you focus on your vision, which could really be an action, focus on my vision today. See myself like that already. Your vibration might go lower, which means you have to let go of resistance. You have to work on your alignment. Come get adjusted. Practice better on your own. Take some time to meditate and pray. In a way, not trying to control things, but in a way that aligns you. Prayer is supposed to align you with God and to help you develop your faith. You're strengthening your faith. You're reinforcing what you know that you know that you know. You got it? About you and your Creator. There's nothing more powerful you can work on than your belief about that. You got it? So vision. Another way you can align, meditate, pray, let go of resistance, all these things. Caring. There has to be love and caring. How many times do I say, you guys got to be on the mission? If you experience this miracle for yourself and you start seeing healing happening, and you see the fact that things were breaking down before and now you're healing, and you see the difference, you recognize that when someone's disconnected from that life energy, destruction is happening. It's ruining their life. It was ruining your life. You didn't even realize it. And then all of a sudden, you go ahead and you're seeing more and more blessing. And by the way, if that's the case, then isn't there so much more blessing that if you were aligned more with God, that would already, some of those seeds you would have planted a long time ago and already be in your life now today? That's why there's a part of me that went ahead and I learned this stuff, and I said, man, I wish I was raised this way. And then immediately my vibration went down. I said, no, I'm not seeing that right. What do I know that I know that I know that I know? And I realized that I all had my own special life lessons that I'm meant to learn, and everything happened perfect for me. And then I remember, oh yeah. And then my vibration went back up again. I started experiencing more blessing. I was more clear. I knew what to do. You get the idea? Do you see how you just got to tap into these 4 areas? So what do I do about it? Let's finish the vibration alignment, and then we'll go to action. So, caring. That's why you're going to be on mission. Because if you know that it's good for you, not only good for you, but that you will not live your full life if you lose the curve in your neck. That's why I just showed the medical studies. That's why I try to ask questions. What happens when you straighten a banana? Why do you think happens if you have constant compression on a nerve? Because I just want you to find out for your own self, what is it that you believe? And if you're holding on to it, you better not let that pressure stay there. Because what do you think's flowing through those nerves? What do you think happens if you cut those nerves? Okay, so then you need to take better care of your spine. And for how long? Someone say it. For the rest of your life. Right? So caring. If you're going to care enough to do it for yourself, then what happens if you have loved ones that you care about and you're not caring enough to try to help reach them? Remember, they're blind, they don't see yet, just like you were, just like I was. We all were. Who's going to get the message to them? Who's got to develop their skill, maybe? How do I reach them? Maybe that's what you need to look into. Whoa, do you see where the skill just came up? It just popped up out of nowhere now, right? That's what it's going to be like. You're going to just check into those 4 areas, and it'll call to you. Ooh, that means I got to work on my skill. Right? I had a doctor's report once. Now, I know that if my body was expressing life at 100%, if that spirit that made me and made me perfect is still being expressed at 100%, if my immune system was killing every cancer cell as it formed, and my body was getting rid of all toxins as they came, and it was enough like that, everything's being maintained perfectly, I would not have any cancer develop in my body. By definition, I just said enough life that everything's being maintained perfectly. Of course, see, the truth's right in front of us. And I had a doctor's report, and one woman said, well, it can't heal all cancers. And at that moment, this is called skill, all right? I knew that God's power can heal all cancers. But did I want to be right? And have her be right out the door? Or did I want to be humble and find out what's going on? So I said to her, you know what, I'm not an expert in all cancers. And then I jumped down to something that she can bring her alignment up. And I said, what is it she knows that she knows that she knows? I went to truth, actually. That's where I went. And I said to something small. I said, but no matter what kind of cancer you have, I'll tell you this. Do you think you'd always be better with pressure off your nerve rather than pressure on your nerves while you're going through it? I said, can we at least agree on that? And she goes, yeah. I said, exactly. I said, that's what I'm going to show you how to take pressure off the nerves, okay? And she goes, okay. Now she's moving forward. I didn't push her out the door. I found out later on her son died from cancer, a certain type of cancer. And it was too painful for her to believe that there could have been something that could have been done. So imagine if I pushed. Spirit told me not to. Because if I was not in the right alignment, I wouldn't have responded that way. I would have said, no. That power can handle anything. And nothing would have been accomplished. Why? So I can hold on to my pride? Say I was right? You get the point? It's not about that. It's about growing. It's about life. It's about serving. It's about making a difference. So now she went forward and she was able to get her life to get better. Do you see the difference? So when you're in alignment, do you get something from this, Brianna? That's a big fan. You gotta caring for. You gotta be on the mission. Because if you really believe with all your heart that this is something for you, worth doing anything in your power to stay connected to God's power as much as possible, and that your kids need to be connected to God's power as much as possible, and that everybody does, then all of a sudden, if you really connect, if that's what your truth is, and you make it a rock foundation truth, solid truth, if you're not sure, then work on your faith. And once you know that, of course, you always got to be connected more to God's power and let it flow through you, then all of a sudden your alignment will flow off every time you see other people that aren't. And it's going to fight. You know why? Because you were created for a purpose to help and serve and enrich the lives of others. Do you see how it works? Now, if you're not doing anything, if you're trying too hard to reach them, your alignment's going to go off. You're doing more than your part. But if you're not doing anything, that's also going to make you feel helpless. Oh, what can you do? There's all these, it's not about what you can do, it's about what God can do. You get the idea? You're just going to do your part. Make sense? You're just going to do your part. By keeping these things in balance, you see how much I've grown since last time I see you? You start growing and growing. That power molds you and molds you and molds you. Now I get to share this with you because God shared it with me. Actually, I'm not sharing it with you. Let me change that. Whatever you're meant to hear, God's sharing something with you right now. There you go. You see how the devil just creeps in there sometimes, that little ego of mine and whatever? You get the idea? What is it? You need to be sitting there saying, let me discern. First, get your vibration high. That means feel really good right now. And if you don't know how, I'm going to give you guys a list of techniques, not in this workshop, but I'll give you a list of techniques, things to practice. How do I get my vibration up? How do I make myself start feeling really good regardless of my circumstances? Okay? Even when I'm in pain. Alright? But you got to care about people. You want caring? And you also want one more thing with your alignment. An attitude of, let's see where this goes. So I had someone who started up as a patient, and I didn't see her for a few weeks. And I was a little worried about her because, you know, what in the world could she have experienced in her life that made her, you know, become committed to the idea that she doesn't need to take care of her spine for the rest of her life. Stay connected to, so, you know, something happened. And so, but when I was going to call, at first I felt like an agenda. My goal was to get her back in here. I said, ooh, my vibration's off. I didn't call. I said, no, my vibration's off. Let me get my life balanced first. And then I realized, I can't have an agenda like that. I couldn't get my vibration up until see, what happens is if you start, I've been developing my skill at communicating, I've been developing my actions, so I'm learning to do that now, getting better with my actions. My truth I've been working on for years. All right, and my alignment I've been recently getting better and better even, I believe it or not. You know, I have a high standard for myself, but I've been, you know, and the point is, the more you work on your truth, the higher your standard for yourself is going to be. All right? And the more committed you're going to want to be to stay aligned with God, you know? And what happened was, my vibration was up, and I realized part of your alignment has to be, when you develop your skills at communicating so well, you start to feel like you're in control. The more things you're trying to control, what happens to your vibration? So that's why my vibration was up, and I didn't make that call yet, and now I'm going to call tomorrow and see what happens. It's going to be much better vibration, much better miracle happening. But the vibration is, when I call, it's going to be, oh, let's see where this goes. What on earth could have helped her think that she doesn't need to take care of her spine for the rest of her life? I don't know, maybe she got bad advice from someone. But my goal is just to be there and just say, hey, I noticed I haven't seen you for a while, and I was concerned, this is Dr. Sage. What's going on? Just see where it goes. Open up, I gotta be in charge 100%. And then you never know what's gonna come up. And a lot of times it's nothing you ever even thought of or worried about. You get the point?
Yep.
Okay, that's alignment. So it's about your vibration, it's about feeling good. When you're sitting there with 100% faith that everything in life is going exactly where you need it to be, how are you gonna feel? Yeah, you're gonna feel good emotions. So that's how you know you're in alignment. Okay? But you're gonna be able to feel good without being in denial of your beliefs and other stuff. You have to be able to fully embrace life. There's three other parts. What's my truth? What do I believe? And still have your vibration up. As you get everything to become stronger and stronger and stronger and aligned with each other in perfect balance, you are walking that path, that straight and narrow path all of a sudden that was created for you. It's paved out for you. Why does God have a path? Why does, you know, there's something I was meditating on last week called blessings of obedience. God wants you to be obedient, wants you to obey Him. Not because He's a control freak. See, the thing is that everything in your heart that you really want for yourself, all those blessings, if you just relied on your own effort to get it, you'd miss it all anyway. And as a loving Creator, He wants you to have it. He wants you to have it. So His way is the only way to get it. So the road is straight and narrow, but it goes on forever. That's right. It goes on forever. Forever. So you got to be in alignment. You have to work on sometimes you have to work on your faith a little bit. Say, what did I get today out of this? Let me dabble into my truth a little bit and see what I really know that I know that I know. There you go. Shift starts taking place when you go in there. All right, alignment. Action. Let me go over action with you now. Ready? So action. Take a piece of paper, turn it around, whatever you do, draw a line down the middle. That's how you should do it. Put everything on the right side. everything that you need to do. You can have different labels. You can have, oh, for my home, for my finances, whatever it is your heart desires. Where you've experienced enough contrast, you know you might want more money. You might want more joy. You may want your relationship to heal with your son who you haven't seen in years. You may want your, whatever it is. You may want your health to get better. Whatever it is that your heart desires, take an action step to it. First of all, plant the seed. Work on your truth. Do you believe you can? Do you believe there's a power that makes it possible for you? And if you do, stop it from being soft and start working on your faith. Make it solid. In other words, I can have that. And the more you know you can have it, notice I went back to truth. Just see what it's like? It's these 4 areas. That's all it is. So check in. That's what I just did. I just went into action and immediately I noticed, hold on, I can feel sometimes someone's truth may be off, and I just checked into it. Check in just means take a look, open your heart, see if there's anything there for you. That's how you know you need to work on it. Because it'll call to you. You'll just see. Once you're doing this, you're doing spiritual work. It's gonna be there. So immediately, my truth went, oh, I can have that. How do you know you can have it? Whatever way you know, if that's a belief that you want to take full ownership of, then do it and make it strong. Okay? So I can have that. I did that with someone today because I want to see them heal. And I was going to take pressure off their nerves, and I didn't want just to take pressure off the nerves and have the same, this kind of energy flowing through there. I mean, that's better than having even that blocked. But, so I went ahead and I said, say this statement. I said, hold a vision for what you want. That's what it's like. That's how you get your adjustments more powerful. You're starting to hold a clearer vision for what you want in your heart. You're developing that neurology. Now you come in and get adjusted. You surrender more. You can see your adjustment's going to get more powerful. Hello, right? You're letting that power move you towards everything that you want. So anyway, so I said, I said, you can have this. That was my truth, and I know it because I've seen it over and over and over again. So many people. I've seen people heal from things. I've seen people get out of wheelchairs and start walking again. People who were told they told me that those tumors would never go away. And here I am, free and healthy, and I never amputated any body parts. I didn't stick poison in my body. And you can have that too. Because the same power that healed me is the same power that's in you. All right? So I can have that. If you believe you can have that, if you can take ownership of that belief, then stop it. Stop making it so soft. Work on it if it's soft. When someone goes up to you and says, oh man, life is tough, this stinks, this stinks, this stinks. When you work on that and you get it's solid, all of a sudden you can be able to look at that person and say, well, how would you rather have it? And they tell you, oh, I wish it could be like that. You can have that. Because you worked on it and you know your faith is strong, that you're solid. Do you get the idea? Sometimes when people come in, oh, I don't know how I can afford, oh, I don't know this. Then am I going to see them? Is that how God sees them? Can't afford, can't overcome their problems, going to be sick forever, going to die younger than they should? No way. I go ahead and I hold a space for them and I go, you can do this. If you want it bad enough, you can find a way. We'll help you. I can't do it for you, but I'm already, look what we do for people, how the way we help you out already. You know, if someone's not going to take a tiny step on their own to start helping their own life, to start valuing it, it's like, you know, so I got to help them stay in alignment. I got to help them stay in faith. What's your belief? If you believe it's worth it, then that means you're willing to pay for it. That's what the word worth means, isn't it? How do you know if it's worth spending, you know, I was on vacation and we had this dolphin experience in the Bahamas. And then they give you this picture. Not a just picture, it's a whole bunch of pictures of my kids that were kissing the dolphin. First, you're not allowed to bring your own camera to the area. And then they have these pictures of the kids, yeah, and they charge you like $100 for the thing. Was it worth it? Who thinks I bought the picture?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. Because I wasn't buying the picture, I was buying the experience, the memory, to hold this really big and say, hey, remember when we went? Look, who kissing the dolphin? That's what I was buying. And I said, yes, it's worth it. Besides, I knew my wife thought it was worth it, and then even that was worth it to me, even if I didn't think it was, just to please her. That was worth it. The whole point is, it was worth it to me. And the question is it worth it to you? And for you guys here, you already know it's worth it to you. How many people do you love and care about that it's not worth it to them yet? To take care of themselves, to make sure. That's why that you gotta develop your skill and tap into it, your communication. And I'm here to help with that too. As a matter of fact, we're starting a philosophy group just so you guys can work on your truth and your skill. That I'm gonna meet you every month. Yeah. So we have a workshop once a month, And we're going to have a philosophy group once a month, just to work on your truth, to help you. At least when it comes to healing and stuff, I'll help you. I'll ask the right questions, if I can, hopefully, right, for guidance. Okay? I know I can, and I will. Because you're going to be able to discern as you get better and better. If I was out of alignment with something, you say, oh, Doc, you just lost alignment. I'm like, oh, you're right. And then all of a sudden, you help me, right? But I feel joy about it. I don't feel bad about it. You know, I told my wife we play a game. When we get out of alignment, I was going through Starbucks one day, and I got a chocolate milk. I'm not a hot chocolate. I'm not much of a coffee drinker. She's the coffee drinker, okay? So what happened was I want hot chocolate, but I didn't want all the whipped cream on it. So I got a small hot chocolate, no whipped cream, and what they gave me, and I forget what they charged for a hot chocolate. The cup was half empty. Because they usually put all the whipped cream on top after that. And I didn't ask for whipped cream, so they gave me a cup that was like this. And I paid for that, and I didn't feel the value all of a sudden. I got frustrated. How could they do that? How can you give someone a cup that's half empty? See, my vibration went lower. And I taught my wife to do this, and I do this for her. We have a saying because we want to work on our vibration, our alignment. And she goes, is that all it takes? And I said, I guess so. Thank God for you to help me, and you know what I mean, to help me start to strengthen up my foundation, my belief that this is happening for a reason, to help me grow and strengthen my ability to stay in alignment with God as I experience some contrast. That's my belief. That's what I know that I know that I know. And I want you to start questioning it for yourself, and so you can come to the same conclusions. If it's the truth, you'll come to the same conclusion. If it's not, you won't. Just start doing it. Start working on your faith. You have everything you need inside. The truth is within you. You got it? God lives within you. Everything you need is already there. That's the beauty. How many people in the day one, the doctor's report, I said, the beauty of it is everything you need to heal, to overcome, God already put inside you. Did I say that during your doctor's report? It's the truth. Now, I'm showing you how to take advantage of these tools. All right? So, action. You have to go ahead. You put a line down the middle, right? Take everything that you want to do with your, whatever part of life it is, and write down what you think you need to do based on your beliefs, where they are now. Now, some of those beliefs will shift, and your action list may change, but that list is going to overwhelm you. That's why you're just writing it on the right side of the line, because that's just for God to do for you. That's what He's going to do most of it anyway. Oh, that's my belief right now, and that's as far as I know that I know that I know. But I'm not sure if you do. But the point is, God does most of it, and you're just going to do your part. That's what I know. But if you need to work on your faith, we'll just do it until you recognize that you can't make a miracle happen, but God can work through you, and together you will see the joy that you experience as miracles are happening through you. Do you see what I'm talking about? Perfect balance of humility and power. Because He's the power, you guys are a great team. The perfect team. So to do whatever you need to do. The more you stay disconnected, the less you're fulfilling your purpose. You get the idea? But there's a perfect plan because God always knew every time we were going to make mistakes, every time we were going to fall off. So there's a plan to accommodate for it. And everything's going on. But let's start fulfilling our potential. That's what an adjustment's for. Why do you bring your kid to get adjusted? So he can be at his full potential. Why do I want you to be adjusted? So you can be at your full potential. So you can get the most out of life. Right here, some of you are working on your truth. This isn't working on your truth. Well, it is working on it, but I want you to go back home, write it down. If you say, wow, I believe that. Go write it down. Tell it to yourself. Record this. Play it over and over again. That's what I do. You listen to a powerful pastor speak one day. Man, you want to buy the video. Say, let me hear it again. Let me make my found. You're developing your faith. You're gonna have to. Sometimes you can just listen for 5 minutes. You know how that's all you needed to hear because you can feel it. Something you say, oh, that's all I can hear right now. And you put it away. That's it. As long as you tapped into it every day, you just checked in. Just check into each. Just check in. You'll know when it's enough. Ooh, that's enough. You know when you need to work on your skill? When your heart's saying, man, I want to get better at that. Ooh, it's time to start working on your skill. See, your heart will guide you. You have everything you need, even the guidance. So on the left side of the line, you write down what you're going to do today. Or what you're going to do this week. It's everything in terms of the now that you know you can do. What if the things, you can't find a way to put any of it down without losing your alignment? Do you see? Then you need to chunk down. Take at least one tiny part because you can't do nothing. Nothing will also lose your alignment because you're not doing your purpose. You're not fulfilling your part. So you chunk down. Who knows what chunking down is? Chunking down is, let's say I have X, Y, Z. let's say I want to take my kids to the movies this weekend. All right? So I write down, take my kids to the movies this weekend. Then all of a sudden I find out my brother's coming in from out of town and I feel overwhelmed. I'm not sure if we're going to have the time, whatever. And I write it down there and it says, feeling overwhelmed, my vibrations go down. Stop. Do not sacrifice your connection with your Creator. Take it off the left side of the list, put it back on the right side of the list, chunk it down. Let me see if I can take them to the movies this weekend. If not, maybe I'll do it another time. How will I do that? I will make a call to my brother and find out now before he even comes. I'll plan ahead. Oh, now I feel my vibration's good with that. I'll put that on the list. I'm going to do that today. But your left side of the list is just what you can do today. This way you can always be doing something and never be doing nothing. What does the Bible say about idle hands? I don't know, but I think it was bad, right? You know what I mean? There you go. Always be doing something that's moving you towards your purpose. Now, you're going to be feeling like you're making progress. And progress is where happiness comes from. It comes from within. Not from the achievement of that goal. But because I have so much joy, my goal is to be the #1 most trusted healthcare advisor in the world, to write books, to grow, to see the world change, to empty all the hospitals and the nursing homes so that there's very few people there, that just the ones that, for whatever reason, it had to be that way for some reason, because I don't know everything, and to fill the churches and the temples and have more people focusing on their connection with Spirit, because they're living so much blessing in their life that even if someone wanted to reject the idea of Spirit, they can't anymore, because how are they going to keep up with the Joneses? That's what they care about then. Because that's the whole point. Why are the people that are so committed to loving God, experiencing such poor experiences sometimes in terms of finances, when really you're meant to be prospered? And it's because a lot of times we're getting our own self in the way, and it's because we're so committed. We know how amazing God is. We're so committed that we're trying to do too much. We're not doing our part. We're not doing only our part. You lose your alignment. You get frustrated. You think, man, people need to know about God. We're so good. We're not trusting the plan. We're not trusting the plan. The very thing that we're so committed to trusting, we're not trusting all of a sudden. That's what happens. Do you get the idea? So action. Chunk down to smaller parts if you need to. Chunk up where you can. Because as long as you're taking action, you're going to feel more fulfilled. So maybe you need to take some nutrition. Maybe we need to do some emotional work. Maybe we need to help release. How am I going to get more of God's power being expressed through me so I can heal? All of a sudden, if you feel overwhelmed by it, it's not time yet. If your vibration starts to drop down, it means not yet. Think of something that you want to do. Something that you've been putting on your to-do list for a while. If all of a sudden, if I said, okay, do it tomorrow, but all of a sudden you see your vibration low, it's not time yet. You could do it, but if you want to get the most potential out of it, you want to get God's will to be fully expressed through there, you got to make sure those 4 areas are balanced first, and then do it. And you can't be trying too hard. Don't forget, part of alignment is, let's just see where this goes. But make sure you understand why I'm calling this call. Why am I doing this action? What is it that I wanted to come out of this? What's my truth here? Why is it so important? The more you become clear about that, aren't you going to be more successful at whatever you're doing? Aren't your actions going to be more congruent? Your alignment's going to be high because you're feeling good about it, and your skills are going to develop through time. And sometimes you have to just go out there and do stuff. Sometimes the best way to develop skill is to just go ahead. Life has taught you the wrong way. They taught you want to be a good doctor? They taught me, go to school and study for 1,000,000 hours about how to be a doctor and what's going on with the body and how things heal, and then afterwards you'll be a great doctor. Then you go into practice, and now you really start learning. See, the way God teaches is not that way, not from books outside in. It's from the inside out. You want to get better at doing something, start doing it. You want to get better at reaching people, start trying. And what happens is you're going to experience contrast. Yes, you will. But that's going to increase your commitment, and you're going to do this thing more, and you're going to check into these 4 areas even more and more and more because you experience enough contrast. And next thing you know, you're reaching people. That's what I went through. That's what we all go through. So you don't try to avoid your contrast. Embrace it. It's part of life. That's how I think we should end. I love you guys.
Okay.
Is that awesome?
Beautiful. More than awesome. Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Perfecto.
Don't worry, I recorded that. Okay, nice. So thankful. So thankful. Good. You got it?
Yeah.
You guys all ready for more abundance in your life?
Yes.
Keep those areas balanced and watch it happen. It's going to happen through you. Nice. Brianna? Brianna, can you show us Would you like enriched? You feel you like this enriched? You ready to apply that? Yes, wonderful. That makes me happy. Look, see, I'm allowing my